The most dangerous season of a man's life. If you miss this, if this is a blind spot to you, it could cost you everything. And particularly going into the next 12 months, into maybe even to the next season of your life, this is a blind spot that has hurt me immensely in business, in family, in sport, in a range of different things. So what I'm going to do as I get to the end of this video, I'm going to tell some stories. I'm going to give you some facts, all right, that you can actually implement straight away. And then, of course, everything I do is always about what's the solution, what action can you take, what action can men take to actually avoid particularly this mistake. It's dangerous, man. And particularly I'm going to give you something that you can actually, from what I let you know about at the end of this video, it's going to actually show you and give you some structure to make 2026 or the next 12 months, whenever you watch this video, the best 12 months of your life. And I don't say that lightly, okay? Because I've seen men do this. Let's start with a fact, the principle. Everyone understands the law of gravity. You've just got to miss the top step. And you know what I'm talking about. The law of inertia, okay? And particularly if you've come out of Christmas or a holiday season, you'll be in inertia, okay? The law of inertia. An object at rest will stay at rest, and an object in motion will stay in motion with the same speed and direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced outside force. You may be at rest. Remember the law of inertia. An object at rest will stay in rest unless it acted upon by an outside force. It will remain at the same speed and same direction unless it's acted upon by an outside force. So I don't know what direction or I don't know what speed you're going at, but that's the law that'll you actually need an outside source to actually help you. You know, for me, very easy. A boxing coach was an outside source, got me training, got me doing certain things. You know, in business, I've had business coaches, I've had other great mates, other men that have influenced me, have been an outside influence. A couple of quick stories where I didn't know, as I said, this season, what I'm going to talk about is the most dangerous season a man is in. And the season I'm talking about is the season of success, okay? You know, when you're doing something, when you're training hard and you're getting great gains in the gym or in certain sports, you're out of inertia, you're actually doing something. You've got momentum. From a holiday period or from a season of laying dormant, you're in that season. You know, one of the things that's happened to me over the years, I've actually stayed in the season, one season too long. 90 days to every season on planet Earth. Let me tell you about this first season that I was in, okay? And when I didn't understand the danger of it, okay, I actually won the Australian title. I got in and you know, boxing as an amateur, on and off, on and off, on and off. Then when I was 22, I thought I'm going full tilt. And it was 4.5 years after going full tilt, consistently increasing my speed, the direction become clearer, and I got to live my dream. I was the Australian champion. This is what happened to me though, and this is what happens to a lot of men when they have a massive season, a massive year the previous year. I remember being in that boxing ring, being handed the belt, and then walking off that ring and thinking, what's going on? I thought this would be different. I thought this would be better. And I can remember, you know, the agreement was to fight for that title. I had to defend the title in 3 months, within 90 days. And it took me so long to get back to the gym because this thing I didn't understand, will understand the fire, the passion, what was getting me fired up had left me. And then eventually, my coach said, man, you got to get back to the gym. We've got to defend this title. I got back to the gym, I defended the title successfully, but I retired after that for a period of time until I understood what was going on, because the fire in my belly had left. And this can be the problem when you have success, when you achieve what you set out to do, the fire goes, the passion goes, the transition of one season to another can change. And this is what happened when people stay in the same season too long. Another time, another season. I'm going to talk about 4 things. Sport, the second thing I'm going to talk about is building wealth, okay? I can remember, all right, being a young guy, and me and my wife, my girlfriend then, but my wife, she became my wife, we were getting food vouchers, okay? So I was kind of motivated. There's nothing, it's very humbling happening to get food vouchers, and particularly when one voucher is not enough. So the next time you go back, you got to shonk the guy to go and get 2 out of him, okay? Very humbling. So, but what it gave me a tremendous amount of motivation, okay? So I went from food vouchers, like I said, 4.5 years' time, winning the title, having 4 bits of real estate, all of a sudden I had all this success, okay? Stayed in the season a little bit too long, but what was birthed from that season, from having that success that I didn't understand at the time, what was birthed was actually pride, was actually ego, maybe full of a little bit of self-importance, okay? And that's what was birthed then, and I didn't, and that season actually caused me a fair bit of pain as I went on. You can't go along with ego and pride being the main contributor to where you go, who you go with, and your language you speak. Of course, the blind spot is I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it. I remember thinking, why doesn't everyone just buy a house? Every time I buy my next house, I make 100K. Why doesn't everyone just buy a new car? Why doesn't everyone just... Anyway, pride crept in. That was another season. I remember starting one particular business, a bricklaying business, and starting it. And then all of a sudden, just a lot of opportunities come when you're the Australian champion. Well, it did to me anyway, in business and other areas. I can remember with the ego as well and the pride and just making so much money, okay? But I remember there was a point where a change in the season. Remember, life is about seasons. And what I want to talk to you about is what season are you in? If you're taking notes, what season are you? Do you know what season you're in? Because what I'm saying about winning the title, being in that sporting season, okay, I didn't understand when the transition was happening. Building wealth, I didn't understand that season I was in. Building a business, it hit me that there was a change in the season. This is what it looked like. I remember I'm at the mixer, got a dozen men working for me. We were building 2 houses at a time, side by side, going up the street, down the street. We're making so much money. I'm just motivating the heck out of these guys, right? But I remember I had 2 kids at the time. They're playing at the mixer. My eldest son, some great guys walk past me and they go, "He'll be laying bricks with us soon, Gav." And I said to myself in my heart of hearts, no, he won't. Hey, I love laying bricks. I love everything that bricklaying give me. But my son ain't doing that, man. I know how hard it is. And the truth is, the contracts that I was doing, I never did another contract after that. When that wound up in about 3 months after that, I was done, right? A change in the season. There was a change in the season. So I'm just saying it. I'm reiterating. What season are you in? Do you know what season you're in? There's been different seasons. Having 7 kids, there's been different seasons with my children growing up. There's been different seasons. I remember from even that bricklaying business and thinking, what am I going to do? I remember having this mentor say to me, "Mate, what's in you? What's in your hand? What is in you?" There's more, and developing that gift, that talent. Hence I started the Fight Like a Pro business. And it quickly turned into a rite of passage for men. A boxing program, but you kind of qualify was that you'd never had a fight. So who do you need to become? I did that for 11 years. But the truth is, I remember about 5, 6 years in, knowing the season was over, but I didn't know what to do. I never had anyone to show me what's the next season look like. What I'm saying is, everything is changing whether we are changing with the seasons. Thank goodness, thank God, God got me out of that season, you know. It's a bit like God throws you a pebble, then he throws a stone, then he throws a rock, then he throws a brick. He got my attention, I stopped, and of course transitioned into writing. Yeah, I'd already written a book, the season was changed. What's caused me a tremendous amount of pain in my life and my family is when I haven't changed seasons quick enough. That's the bottom line. I'm saying to you again, do you know what season you're in? Do you know what the next season looks like? Because that's what this is about. This is the most dangerous thing that'll happen to men, is they're meant to change. They're ready to change season, but don't understand how to do it. That's the bottom line. It's a bit like the law of energy. Okay, the law of energy. I love science as well as I love faith. The law of energy says nothing is created nor destroyed. It just changes form. Okay, it just changes form. So it takes a lot of energy to be sad and miserable and sit on the couch. You mightn't think it does initially, but to stay there and end up depressed, a lot of energy, opposed to the same energy just changes form. You get up, you take action on your purpose, your mission. If you don't know what it is, you start to find out what it is. You start to research, you start to look, you start to try different things. Same energy, just changes form. The thing about seasons, and this is what I see, this is what I've seen in my family, okay, is when I haven't changed from one season to another quick enough, I've been a bit grumpy. I've been a bit angry around my kids. I've been a bit like, man, what's going on here? Like, I've become more like a drill sergeant. Action, 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 make things happen. So the last thing you want to be is an angry dad, an angry old man. Even worse, an angry young man. So you don't want to be that guy. So when you understand the seasons are changing and you're changing with them, you know, what other skills you need to develop, etc. I mean, I go through all that with the Become a Better Man Challenge, which we've got the next one coming up. But this is what I want to talk to you about. It's all about the solution for me. Anyway, I think for most men. Most men will say, Gav, I understand I've got to change, I just don't know what to do or where to start. Well, that's what I'm going to talk about. So we understand the law of energy. It's not created or destroyed, it just changes form, all right? So you've got exactly what you need. You've got exactly what it takes to step up and develop yourself for the next season. But we've got to understand that law of inertia. Let me read it again, okay? So you get this. An object at rest will stay at rest, and an object in motion will stay in motion at the same speed or direction. Unless, you got to say unless, acted upon by an unbalanced outside force. Well, I would say, man, a lot of times I'm the unbalanced. Are you the unbalanced to actually change form, change direction? So understanding these things. And this is how you do it, okay? This is how I do it in the Become a Better Man Challenge, the next one that's coming up. The first thing we're going to do is understand our enemy. What is the thing that's holding you back? What's the thing that's taking you out? Okay, you got to understand your enemy. The second thing is you got to understand, what do you need as a man? You know, what do you need from other men? What do you need from women? What do you need from this world? Okay. The third thing, environment is stronger than willpower. A lot of men, we end up being in the wrong environment, the wrong tribe. When I say the wrong, I mean culture is stronger than your willpower. Culture creates who you are, your identity. So a lot of us, we've built a culture without even realizing it, and it's not for us. It's maybe the culture's based on who you were 20 years ago or the last season, okay? So when we get into, particularly around, and we start to understand that, we get into look at day 4, you either compete or you create. Whereas when you get into the creation model, you know, you're creating something new for the next season. You're creating something new in you, in your family. Man, that's when you feel younger. You feel fresher. Remember, that energy that is already in you, you start to create it for good, for love, for power, for impact, for creating something that's never been created before. What we'll do is we'll look at what actually is your assignment. Every man longs for an assignment, something that's worth their life. So gentlemen, as I said at the start, the most dangerous thing in a man's life is he doesn't understand the change in the seasons. If there's things in you that's telling you, I've got to step up, there's something in me, I've got to change some things, Become a Better Man Challenge is perfect for the man who says, man, I know there's more in me. I am not sure exactly what to do or even what's holding me back. So there'll be a link here. Click the link. If you can do the VIP section, the VIP experience, do it. Because as we go through these things, the VIPs come on earlier and literally have a VIP experience. They get an opportunity to ask me questions that are specific to their journey. And that's what men say, I'm getting answers to questions I didn't even realise I had. You imagine you get 20 blokes in just bringing forth their most important question of the day. All of a sudden you go, man, I didn't even realise I had that question in me. It's the best, I'm telling you. So if you can't do that, do the Gentleman Mission. It's amazing as well, believe me. So, all right, gentlemen, hey, listen, I'm going to go and change the world. Share this with somebody who you know needs to hear it. Over and out.